Hey everyone, it's noon here in Cleveland, which is Eastern Daylight Time, and it's time to talk about LinkedIn. But before we get started, I want to first of all make sure that you understand that I can see sometimes I can see your comments and questions if Facebook isn't lagging too much. Other times I can't. But I will come back and check the comments at the end. So if I don't see yours or if I don't see questions, hang around because I will come back live. I just can't see them when I'm sharing my screen to show you something. So be sure of that. Also, if you want me to know who you are when you ask a question and you've never been on a StreamYard broadcast before, go above me and click to let Facebook allow StreamYard to see your name, and you never have to do it again. It's just the first time you have to do it. So, and one final piece of housekeeping here. We had a snowstorm last week. It's 80 degrees this week, but we had a snowstorm last week, and it brought down a bunch of trees. So they are coming in and out, chopping down trees and doing that kind of thing. There doesn't seem to be anybody here right now, so I'm hoping we're good. But if the noise starts up, I will get up and I will close the windows and we'll be okay. So I think that's it. Let me see, first of all, if I can see, yeah, there's definitely a lag here. So I'm going to hang on over here real quick and just see if we've got any questions coming in. It doesn't look like it. So just know that I won't be able to see you, at least while we're going through this next part. So I am going to now share my screen with you, and we'll get started with, how to write that amazing LinkedIn profile, which I know is why you're here. So hold on a second. Let me share my screen. Okay, so that's that. Now let me get started here. Hey, I think we did it. At least from my end, it's showing up right. So I hope it's showing up right on your end. There's always a question when you're live, but let's get started. So today we're talking about how to build an all-star profile, or actually we're going to talk about how to build a better profile than an all-star profile, one that will attract your ideal clients. And I know that's why we're all on LinkedIn, right? We want clients and customers. So, all right, what we're going to cover today, LinkedIn lead generation, where your profile falls in that. What is an all-star profile? 7 characteristics of an irresistible profile, how to write a client-focused profile, and tips and tools that you can use, okay? And at the very end, I'm going to show you how you can get a free profile review from me, okay? So let's go. A little bit about me. I'm Dumont Owen. I'm a master personal brand strategist, certified Master Personal Brand Strategist by Reach Incorporated, and I'm one of about 24 of us in the world. So I'm also a certified digital brand strategist, meaning, and I specialize in LinkedIn. I'm an executive leadership and development coach, a career management coach, and that's it for now. Okay, so, but wait, I'm going to go back here a sec. It doesn't say it here, but I'm a LinkedIn coach and trainer. Got to update that file. Okay, so let's talk about lead generation for just a minute. And I'm not going to go heavily into this, but this is the model that we've been using in this group. There are 4 stages to lead generation. The first one is strategy. In your strategy, you're going to clarify your goals. you're going to clarify your niche, and you're going to clarify your personal brand. So that's the first part. And the second part is awareness, the second stage. And that includes your profile, content marketing, and automation. So this is where we're focusing today, right? But just to quickly go around here a little bit more, relationship building includes prospecting, connecting, and nurturing. And then finally, the final stage is sales. But it's more than just sales. It's analyzing, your progress against those goals that you clarified in the first stage. It's also figuring out how to keep giving exquisite client support so that you convert those clients into raving fans, right? Not just return clients, but raving fans who are out there, just telling the world to beat a path to your door. But today we are talking about that irresistible profile. So what is an all-star profile? Well, actually, all-star just means, according to LinkedIn, that you filled out every section. Okay, and when you are in your dashboard on LinkedIn, you can see where it says all-star here. That's because mine is completely out. I put something in every section. It will tell you 25%, 50%, 75%. So you can see how close you're getting to that all-star profile. Now, having an all-star profile doesn't mean you have an irresistible profile. Those are two different things. However, it does mean something to have that all-star ranking, because LinkedIn, when it sees that ranking, elevates how you show up in search results. So you absolutely want to have something in every single section, okay? And make sure that you've used it. You're also going to want to include, LinkedIn has various character limits. The About section is 2,000 characters, including white spaces. The Experience sections are the same. Your title is up to 240 spaces or characters now. But remember, all of those include white spaces. Okay, so just know that. All right, so why do most profiles not work? And you just gotta trust me here, most of them don't. Okay, so you're going to be putting yourself out way ahead of the herd. Okay, they're me too, and by that I mean, the thing you don't want to do is go and copy someone else's. Use the same verbiage and everything, because it doesn't work. Your profile has to be unique to you. Now, can you go to other people's profiles in your industry and check them out and look for keywords and look for inspiration? Absolutely. Do that. Just don't be a me tooer, okay? Secondly, you're the world's best kept secret. There's no advantage to that, okay? You want your profile to be out there. So you want to make sure that you have anchored it with the right keywords, that you've made it public, all of those things, so that people actually know who you are. I used to work for a university that used to say their students were the world's best kept secret. And I kept thinking, you don't want anything about the university to be the world's best kept secret, especially your students. So you really want to be out there and let people know who you are. And all the things that we're talking about in this presentation will contribute to making you just irresistible and out there. Okay, passive versus active. Now, I'm an ex-grammar teacher, so you have to take this from me. But in actuality, anyone else who writes LinkedIn profiles would tell you to put it in active voice, not passive voice. So you're going to use active verbs. Started, ran, these are just verbs. So in comparison to it was started or it is, you don't want to use those. You always want to use action verbs that show action. Okay. No targeting. meaning you aren't speaking to your niche. And if they don't know when they land on your profile that they're in the right place, you just missed the boat. So remember that first part. I'm going to go back here for a second. Remember this whole first part, the strategy where you clarify your goals, your niche, and your brand. You really have to do this first. Okay, so, no targeting. They're incongruent, meaning that what they're saying in one part of their profile contradicts something else that they're saying. They're not branded the same way, or the values appear different. Something's just off. When people read it, they go, where is this person really? Okay, 7 characteristics of an irresistible profile. So remember, we talked about an all-star profile. What I now want you to do is move past that. Make it client-focused. And this means, making them feel welcome when they first arrive. So you don't want your profile to immediately be about you. You want it to be about them. It's so tempting to toot our horns right off the bat. And you want to do that a little bit further into your profile. And we'll talk about that. So you want to make it client focused. You want to talk about their problems, their challenges, and then propose your solution. You want it to be magnetic. And a big part of that is keywords. And we're going to talk about that. Relevant. It has to be relevant to the problems and challenges of your ideal client, or else it's missing the boat. Compelling. Now, there are several ways that it has to be compelling. Your first 4 lines of your About section have to be compelling because your viewers have to click See More in order to read the rest of it. So if you haven't grabbed them in those first 4 lines, they may be gone. Because, the latest statistic I've seen is that it takes people 7 seconds to make up their mind. I suspect that it's a lot less than that in some cases. Authentic. It has to ring true. It has to be true to your brand. The way that you talk here should be the way that you talk there. The way that you appear if you're doing video should be the way that you appear there. Okay. And then finally, unique. It needs to show how you're like your other competitors, but it also needs to really differentiate you from your competitors. It needs to show how you are the only person that your viewers are going to want to hire. Okay, client focused was the first one. Let's look at that a little more carefully. Okay, when you build a client-focused profile, as I said, in your headline, in the first few lines of your About section, you want to make it about them, not about you. It's written in the first person because when they land on your profile, you want people to feel like they're in a conversation with you. Now, I know that first person using I and we is much harder than using she and they. Because it feels like we're bragging. So if it helps you to write it out like a bio first, like a 3-dimensional bio, that's great. And then change it to I and we. Sometimes that really helps get out of that space of feeling intimidated. But change it to the first person because you really do want to appear like you're in conversation. And something that is just right off the blocks, I don't even have it in this presentation yet, is that you can actually include a cover video. And some of you have it already, some of you don't, but you can include a 1-minute cover video that will literally allow you to talk to and welcome your visitors to your profile. How cool is that? Because that is so authentic. Okay. It addresses their problems and challenges. It spotlights your solutions, and it focuses on results. Solution, but, you want those results, because that's what people are buying. Okay, and then finally, you want to provide a call to action. Now, what is a call to action? A call to action tells people what to do next to reach out to you. It could be subscribe to my newsletter. It could be download my free gift. It could be schedule a free consultation. Whatever it is, you want it very clear in there and to tell them exactly how to do that. And you only want one per section. Okay, in your about section, and if you don't know what the about section, up until very recently, it was called the summary. So instead of summary, look for about. And in the about section, you can have a call to action. You can also have a call to action in your experience sections, but do not put more than one call to action in any one section. Research shows that if you have one call to action, people will do it. But if you have more than one call to action, they won't make that choice. Okay, so you have to limit it to one. All right, let's talk about branded content. Branded content is the part that people see the most. It's the first thing they see when they come to your profile. And the first thing they see is your banner. Now, I had my banner professionally designed, but Canva makes it so easy. If you don't have a banner, go into Canva and look up LinkedIn banners. It doesn't show up right away. So go to the search field. Canva has a free version. Go to canva.com, go to the search field and put in LinkedIn, and it's going to come. The first thing you're going to see is banners. And you can actually do your own. You can put your colors, you can put your logo on it, you can put your free gift on it, okay? But do something to stand out from everyone else. On mine, I have what I do. I help coaches and consultants build success on LinkedIn. I help them get more leads, more clients, more revenue, and more life. That's my tagline, but you might have a completely different one. Okay. The next place that's branded is your headshot. Your headshot. So your headshot should be facing forward. So look into the camera, make eye contact. You should be smiling, be welcome, look approachable. You should also appear professional, and you should reflect your brand. You notice that I wear glasses. So in all of my headshots, I am wearing glasses because your brand includes, all those things that are visual too. So you want it to be professional. I have on a jacket and a nice blouse. It does not, however, have to be a professional photograph. You do not have to hire a photographer. It can be something that you shot on your phone if it has a really good lens. Get a friend who has a web camera to take one. It doesn't have to be perfect. The whole thing with the pandemic and with the rise of video and people doing video from their homes has created much more of a demand for authenticity. So it doesn't have to be, a professional shot, but it does have to be, looking appealing and professional in nature. It should be against a neutral background. And finally, your head and shoulders should take up about 80%. So you don't want a full body shot. Okay, next we have your title. Now, LinkedIn tells you can't put anything behind your title unless it's an academic degree. So if you have an MA, an MBA, a Ph.D., an MD, all those things can go there. But you can also put, if there is an industry standard, let's say that you only work with project managers and they have a particular, and you have certifications that they would recognize, then you would want them there. What you don't want is a whole string of certification initials that nobody recognizes, that aren't going to mean anything to anyone. So you don't want to do that. But you can get in a few credentials there. They don't police it. It's just what works best. Okay, and then your headline. Now your headline has gone up. It used to be 140 characters or 120 characters. I can't remember. Now it's 240. But I'm going to suggest to you that you not use all of them, because it starts looking really crowded and it's hard to really kind of figure out what goes on in there. So your headline should be really fairly simple in terms of what you do, who you do it for, and how you do it. And you also want keywords in there. And we'll be talking about that in a little while. But to find so in other words, you don't want to have something in there that says, chief inspirator. I'm a chief inspirator. Or I've seen lots of people who put, I'm the LinkedIn guru. Well, nobody looks for a LinkedIn guru. Nobody looks for a chief inspirator. They don't go on LinkedIn and enter those words into their search fields. So you need to make sure that you have, real titles that people recognize. You also, so I say I'm a master personal and digital brand strategist. And this is an old one that I have on here. Mine now also says LinkedIn coach and trainer, and then helping coaches and consultants with lucrative leads, land lucrative leads without the sleeves. So that was my clever way of saying what I do. I work only with coaches and consultants and professional service providers, and I teach them the right way to use LinkedIn. And this, like I said, is not my current title, or headline, but it works. Okay, another thing that you can do on LinkedIn is add a profile section. And in that profile section, you can talk about, you can add posts, you can add articles, you can add links, you can add media, all of those things. You can do some things with your background. Where do you find this? You're going to find it right here. It's right under 500 connections, or however many you connections have, right there. That's the add section. So you can add, and we're going to be talking about this in a few minutes. This featured section up here, you really want to add that, because what the featured section does is it allows you to upload all of the cool content you have. You can upload a video, you can upload images of your certifications, you can upload your latest posts, any of that stuff, and feature it. So you really want to do that. Okay, you're going to optimize your contact information. And there are a couple of things I want you to notice here. First, in your contact information, and I'm going to go back here for a second, and show you your contact. Well, it doesn't show here, but your contact information is actually right under your headline. It's the first thing you're going to see. And so you can organize that. You can edit that so that, first of all, your LinkedIn profile has your name. Your LinkedIn profile, when you go here the first time, is going to say linkedin.com/in/gobbledygook. It's going to have, like all these gobbledygook things. You can edit that so that it has your name. Why do you want to do that? It helps you in Google searches. So you want to do that. Okay, you can put your website. So there's your profile. You can put up to 3 websites. So you can put your regular website, you can put your blog, you can put your I have an attachment here, or a thing for my LinkedIn lead generator group on Facebook. You can put a calendar link and tell people to schedule that. If you're going to put something that's other than your website or your blog, click other. And it will allow you to fill in whatever you want to fill in to describe what that website is. So this is a really cool thing. And you can, put your phone, you can put your address if you want to, you can put your email and all of those kinds of things. So that's the next part. Okay, remember I was talking about LinkedIn headlines. Let's talk about, again, what makes them a good idea. Okay, so here's mine that you just saw. Master Person on Digital Brand Strategist, helping coaches and clients land lucrative leads without the sleaze. Now this was, a shorter one. It was when they had the shorter amount, they had the shorter limit on your characters. But what you see here is I have a number of keywords in here. I have brand. I have personal, so people will see that if they're looking for personal brand, because those are both in there. They'll see it if they're looking for digital brand. They'll see it if they're looking for coaches and consultants, because I come up as a coach. And they will look, it comes up if they're looking for leads. So it has some keywords really in there. So it's got my title that they would look for. It's got keywords that they look for. Digital brand strategist, all of those are keywords. Personal brand strategist, all of those are keywords. So, and you want to add a little sizzle. Mine was without the sleaze, because I really get sick of people who approach me all the time trying to hard sell me on their services. I don't like that. I don't want you to do that. So, so that's one way. Now here's another one. This happens to be Deb Dibbs, and Deb is an amazing copywriter who works with career professionals. So, and she is, she is a master. If you want the master wordsmith, follow Deb Dibb, D-E-B-D-I-B. Look her up, follow her. Hers says, brand storyteller, editor/polisher, writing strategy coach. I help busy, gutsy career pros get unstuck. Fast, fun, done. Now, how cool is that? That's a really cool title. And then here's another one that also is a really good example. I don't know this person, but I used hers. Certified professional coach, all keywords. Career consultant, all keywords. Appointed city commissioner, probably not a keyword, but look how clever this is. And it's true. I know this because I did ask about this. She was appointed city commissioner as a result of a darn good elevator pitch. And if you've ever tried to do an elevator pitch, and you're a career coach, that's one of the things that people have to have, right? If they're going to find a job. So it's a great example of adding some sizzle. Okay, key components of your about section. And remember, this is your summary section. Why you do what you do. What others say about you. And this means, you could add like a snippet from one of your recommendations, either on your website or in those recommendations that are all the way down at the bottom of your profile. You can bring them up and feature just, 2 or 3 lines of a quote in there. Who I help or serve. You want to be very specific about your niche. How I help or serve them. Where you may have seen me. And then, and then I would say, and I didn't put it on here, I apologize. I would also have the results. So that should be on there. Okay, so how do you figure out what to put there? Well, remember when we talked about the lead generation process, I talked about brands. And here's where you can really clarify your brand if you haven't thought about how to put that in a statement and create something that you can put in your headline and in your about section. This is a way you can do it. You can create a personal brand statement. So you could put, I use my services or my knowledge or my experience, in such and such to, help resolve, improve, whatever it is. And then, and you're going to mention your ideal clients, it might be to overcome their biggest problems, or it might be to realize their greatest dreams. Okay. So it could be to achieve their greatest dreams. And then and that's who you're going to specify who you're doing it. So I could say, I use my knowledge of personal branding, digital branding, and LinkedIn to help okay, I probably wouldn't do this one, but to elevate or to promote personal brands on LinkedIn for coaches and clients. Or consultants and professional service providers. That's not a very good example. I don't use that one myself, but I support, help, empower, activate to blank by doing blank. So I could say I empower coaches and consultants to achieve their greatest goals by promoting their brand and developing a strong LinkedIn lead strategy, something like that. And then leveraging my experience or my knowledge or my skills, so I could put leveraging my knowledge of personal branding and LinkedIn. I deliver powerful LinkedIn lead generation systems to coaches and clients. See, I warmed up a little bit as I was going through that. Okay, let's talk about your about section. All right, you know your why. We already talked about that. So you're going to include that in there. You're going to write your personal brand statement so that you can use that in there. You're going to identify keywords that you can use. Get crystal clear on your niche. Focus on their pain points. Present your solutions, and then that call to action, right? So, experience. In the experience section, you're going to want to highlight different services or niches that you have. And what do I mean by that? Well, you can have more than one experience section that's about your company or your business or your practice. You can have one that says, for instance, I could have one that's only directed towards, say, career coaches. Okay, and only talks about personal branding, or only talks about LinkedIn, or only talks about, you get the idea, so you can use it and you can put the same dates down, as people go down, they're going to see those. So for instance, if you say, and I'm going to use myself as an example, if you say that some of your services are, for instance, mine would be lead generation, development, profile optimization and branding, those kinds of things, social selling, all of those. I could have those in different sections. You can optimize your headlines, and this is the same formula that you use with your overall profile headline. You want to optimize your headlines with keywords in your brand statement, but you want to emphasize the results you provide and reinforce that with social proof again. And again, remember, your recommendations are at the very bottom of your profile. This is a great place to add some, okay? So you're going to be able to put those snippets in again. All right, and then finally, it includes the call to action, and we've talked about calls to action. Okay, other information you can that goes in there. Your education. Your education can establish an instant connection with people because, they may not have gone to the same school with you, but they may know something about that school, or they can look that school up. So you want it in there because, if nothing, you want people to have opportunities to connect with you, right? And your education can really do that. In addition, if you have in your education, if you majored in something, or you specialized in something, or you had a concentration that really enhances your qualifications, you want to do that. So you are going to be sure that you have that evidence. You also want to include certifications and licensures, which is the next section. And in certifications and licensures, you want to make very sure that you're active. You want to make very sure that you've listed them correctly. Now, you do not have to put a date. You also don't have to put dates with your education. This isn't a resume. It's not a job application. You can do what you want. So if you feel that you graduated from Podunk U back when dinosaurs were walking the earth, then don't put it in. Don't put your graduation date in there. If you graduated last year and you're afraid people are going to think you're, wet behind the ears, don't put your dates in there. That's okay. Unless you are really trying to appeal to certain people who graduated within a certain time frame. Same thing with certifications and licensures. A lot of people do not put when they expire. Featured. This is one of those sections that you can add. And this is a section where you can upload as much media and posts and all those things as you want, just like you can do in other parts. Okay, you can put those things in your, you can upload multimedia to your experience sections, to your featured sections, and you can change them constantly to update your profile. You don't want a stagnant profile. You want to update it. Accomplishments. What did you achieve? This is a very, very important section because it qualifies you to give advice. Who are you? What have you done? What have you achieved in this? And skills and endorsements. Okay, let's talk about this for a minute. LinkedIn has, if you scroll down and you go past the other areas, then you'll find skills and endorsements. And I want to take a minute here because this is a great way also to find keywords. There's a whole strategy that skills and endorsements can help you with. The first piece of this strategy is how many are you going to include? You can look at your skills. There's a skills tools or an add tools with a little pencil there where you can edit your skills, and you can go in there, you can start typing in a skill, and then it will fill those in with choices. Okay, so if I type in LinkedIn, I might get LinkedIn profiles, LinkedIn trainer, LinkedIn expert, LinkedIn coach. All different kinds of things. So you can choose exactly the ones you want. Now, those are the skills that your first degree connections, those people who you are directly connected to on LinkedIn, can endorse. All right, so you want to prioritize them. And you can go in there. There are three, once you have your skills in there, there are three little parallel lines beside each skill. You can click on those and drag and drop them, drag and drop them to in the correct place. So where you want them. Remember, only your top three skills show, and then they have to click see more. So you want those, the biggest, the most important ones at the top. Now there are two other pieces of strategy, or two other thought, what do I want to call it? Views on how to do your skills. Some people say, and some people prefer to put as many of their skills in there as possible. They want people to be able to endorse them on all those things. They want people to see all those skills, and if that's your preference, then that's what you want to do. Other people will limit it to 10 skills, and so that they can build up those skills really fast and not have people around. So for instance, if one of your most important skills is that you're a content writer, then you might want the ones that go with that. If you're a copywriter, you might want all the stuff that goes with copywriting, but just to limit it to 10 so that people would always endorse you for those. Now there's another use of the add skills tools, and that is figuring out keywords. Because when you add that skill and it starts listing all those different kinds of things that you could put in there, that's a good source of keywords that you can then go to your competitors' profiles. You can go to clients who have hired you or your followers, and you can figure out which of those keywords to use. It's a very handy little thing to start stimulating your brain to do that. Okay, and Recommendations, I strongly recommend that you ask for a recommendation from someone once a month. Here's why. If you go to somebody's profile and you land on it and they have 125 recommendations, but when you look at them, they're all like, so-and-so is a great guy because they just sent it out and got, I literally saw one like this. This guy had hundreds of recommendations and he wrote me to give him a recommendation. I didn't know him from Timbuktu. I did not know this man and he was writing me for a recommendation. So first of all, you want them to carry weight, okay? But secondly, you want them to be current. If you look at somebody's recommendations and they have 150 recommendations, but they don't have anything in the last 2 years, aren't you going to kind of wonder? You know, you are going to kind of wonder, you know, what have they been doing lately? You know, are they, you know, retired and they're just not showing, you know, so it raises questions. So make a habit of asking once a month from someone that you know and someone that you trust, because that's very important. And when people ask you for recommendations, think about the same thing. Is this someone that you really want to give a recommendation to? And then finally, interests. Give people something they can relate to. In your interests, you can have, you know, your interests, the companies that you're following, the influencers you're following, the schools that you're following. You know, so all of that are things that people can relate to. So you really want to complete those. And remember, to have that all-star rating, you're going to want to put something in here. So if you didn't go to college, you know, you can still put in, you know, some kind of information. You know, put your high school degree, put your community college degree, or just don't put a degree, but put that you attended there. So there's something in there. You know, if you attended the Cuyahoga Community College for a year, you haven't finished, but you were there a year, put them in there and just put, you know, put a brief description of what you studied. So you can fill out every single section. It's not impossible. Okay, let's go with some tips. Use keywords where they occur naturally. Avoid keyword stuffing. Now, what do I mean by this? Google looks for your keywords. LinkedIn looks for your keywords. However, Google now searches for keywords in context. Okay, they look at how they're in there. So if you are just putting a list of keywords, it's not going to carry enough weight. You know, you'll see people who say specialties, and then they have a list of keywords. It's not going to be as impressive. It's also not going to be as impressive if you just stuff all the keywords you can get in there, because it's going to be choppy and unreadable. So use them, you know, but use them naturally, and remember that you have a whole profile that you can put them in. Be stingy. Remember what I just said? Only provide endorsements and recommendations for people who deserve them. It's about brand association. If you don't know this person and you aren't convinced that they can do what they say they do, then don't do it, because people are going to look at the recommendations you gave. And if that person doesn't deserve it, it's going to decrease their faith in you. Make it easy to find you with a customized URL. Remember, we talked about that. Increase your Google juice with images, presentations, and videos. You can upload all of those things. Okay. I have a blank slide there. And then finally, link your LinkedIn profile to your company page. Now, we are not going into company pages right here. That's in another presentation, but if you have a logo, link it, put it next to you, and there's a place for you to upload it. If you don't have a logo, Go someplace and, there are lots of places on the web where you can create free logos, or you can go to Upworks or one of those and get someone to design a logo. It doesn't have to be expensive, but get a logo, because when people click on that, it will take them to your company page. All right, very, very important. Include your appointment calendar to your website links. Avoid jargon, okay? I can remember my first class in my Ph.D. program. I got this paper back, and the guy said, quit using all the jargon. And I went, okay, no jargon. Actually, this was a grad assistant who didn't realize that I was citing statistical tests that weren't jargon. That was the name of the test. So, but you don't want to do that in the LinkedIn profile, okay? You do not want to use industry jargon. Make it so clear that a 7th grader could read it and understand it, okay? Seriously. Use the KISS method, and that's keep it simple, stupid. It doesn't have to be complicated. It needs to be really self-evident that this is, but it needs to be very simple. Okay, we're at the end of the slideshow. I'm going to show you just one more thing, because it's really important. You can get a free profile review with me. All you have to do, excuse me, is schedule a free strategy session. We'll review your profile and the best strategies and tactics for you to reach your goals on LinkedIn. So, if you haven't been taking screenshots so far, and I have no problem with you taking them at all, but take one of this, because that's my appointment calendar, and you can get your free strategy session by following that link. And then finally, contact me. These are my contact places, or my contacts. Dumont Owen is my best email. Here's my LinkedIn profile. Don't click on this one yet. We're rebuilding it. It's buggy. Don't even bother. We are right in the middle of rebuilding it right now. And then here's my appointment calendar. Okay, so, and in actuality, the one that I just gave you before this, I'm going to change that. The one that I just gave you before this, that's the appointment calendar if you want a free session. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. Uh-oh. Bad news. It says, I just came back to StreamYard. It says they're having trouble streaming to Facebook. No. All right, let me go over here. I'm going to first look here. Okay, I have this horrible feeling. Yeah, no comments are showing up. Sorry about this, gang. Hopefully, I record these two, so hopefully my recording took and I can upload it if it didn't go live. So, sorry about that if it didn't, but I will get you the replay. Don't worry about it. So, I can't see. No, they're not showing up. Uh-oh. No. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Well, this is Dumont Owen. Ta-ta for now.